Now we have a viewer question. This was one that was screened ahead of time, and I'm going to bring this up here. Hold on just a moment. Hashim Warren says, I've tried guest blogging 3 times with 0 results. I've tried to write for 3 really big blogs and could barely get a response. I'm bearish on the tactic, that it takes too much time for too little benefit. A better strategy would be to join a community online that fits your audience and become the coolest, most helpful person there. Create micro content for related Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google Plus groups that solve problems and fits passions. Now, there is no question here, and I think this approach is actually a great idea. It's what I do in kind of the time I'm not writing. But at the end of the day, what is the argument pro guest blogging? And I have some ideas of my own, but I want to get yours first, Kristi.
It's really about building authority, because if somebody sees you, like if somebody respects a website enough and then they see your name pop up on it, they're going to be like, oh, they must be really good to get this position on here. And I'm not sure what this viewer's, how they started out and everything, but I know that as a freelance writer, I have some clients who come to me and they're like, I have no content on a blog, I've never written before, and I want to post on Mashable. And they don't, they don't have a reputation. They don't have anything anyone could look at. And sometimes I think people just start out, without that background, and you just need to build up. It's like probably his idea about like building a community first. Like after he's done that for a while, he'll probably get to build a lot of relationships, maybe start out on smaller sites and guest blog, and then eventually he'll become so well known that by the time he approaches maybe even the same 3 major blogs he pitched the first place, they'll recognize him and they'll be like, oh, awesome, I'd love a post from you.
So do you think it's a matter of time for him then?
I'm probably just building up. Like you can't kind of go from 0 to 60 without like that, in between work and everything. So
right.
He probably needs like his own blog, a lot of content that kind of mirrors the content that he's trying to write on sites, the other major sites and everything. And I think once he builds up a reputation, builds up fans and stuff, he should be able to do that.
Excellent. And yeah, I mean, for me, I think the thing is, when I read this, I thought, that is something like that. I think that's part of any inbound strategy. It's about diversifying kind of where your traffic's coming from, right? I think it's absolutely important to do the social media side of things, but the guest blogging aspect, for me, it's kind of that celebrity endorsement effect, right? John, you talk about this in the guest blogging program, and Neil, I mean, you said when you first got started, it was just because you had friends. You were just dealing with your friends. If you were to have a product like a big, like Kirby vacuums is kind of the way I think about this, right? We all like Kirby. Like I have a Kirby vacuum. My family was a Kirby vacuum family. We really like Kirby vacuums, but because they're sold door to door and because there have been no celebrity endorsements, chances are likely you're gonna buy a lower quality product because somebody else, like it's been aligned with it's during a time slot on TV where you paid attention. Is it kind of the same type of idea, Neil? What would you think about that?
Yeah, funny enough, I used to actually sell the Kirby vacuums door to door. That was one of my first jobs. So, but yeah, the way I see it is, it's like, sure, you could do it for celebrity endorsements. Like you can go out there, help build your brand. Some people may not want to do it. The way I see it is guest blogging is just another form of marketing, right? It can build brand, build traffic, whatever it may be. Whether you want to do best guest blogging or not, it's up to you. I'm a big believer that you should just try all the marketing tactics out there, right? The ethical ones at least. Figure out what works for you. And if it sticks and it does well, focus on them. If it doesn't, move on to the rest. And when you conquer all the others, you can always come back to it. Or if you don't have time, just focus on the ones that are working for you.
Excellent, excellent. And what do you do when your guest post pitch gets accepted? What's the next thing you do?
I just write the guest post and submit it to them, and then make sure it's awesome. Write Kristi's model, which the first one and every other one has to be so great that they want you to write again. And once it gets up there, make sure you promote it, get all your buddies to promote it, and make sure it does really well traffic-wise for them as well.
And what if it gets rejected?
If it gets rejected, either go back to the drawing board and try to modify the pitch or ask them why they get rejected and see how you can improve. If you really like it and you think other people are going to like it, then put it on your own blog or pitch another blog. So,
excellent. And John, actually, someone had asked me this: is they pitched a guest post and it got ignored. They hadn't heard anything. What do you do after that?
That's normal. That's actually the most common response, is to not get any response whenever you're pitching a guest post, unless it's really, really awesome. So, I mean, the first thing is, imagine the way that you read email. The way that we read email is pretty much the same. Is we scan down through the list of people that we know, and we look at those first, and we respond to the people that are the most important to us. And everyone else is just like on the to-do list. And when a blogger doesn't know you, even if they read your message, chances are you're near like the bottom of the to-do list, and they never get down that far. So you never get a response. So, I mean, you can either focus on building your relationships, or you can focus on making your ideas better. If you have just like an incredible headline and an incredible idea, usually you're going to get a response back, even if they've never heard from you before. But I mean, the other thing is, don't be afraid to follow up. The rule of thumb that I give my students is follow up every 7 days until you get a yes or a no. And that's the rule that I followed when I first started. And in some cases, I followed up with people for 6 months before they finally gave me an answer. So don't go away. Don't get upset. Don't like yell at them and say, "Oh my God, why are you ignoring me?" or something like that. Just say, "Hey, you know, friendly follow-up. Have you had a chance to look at this yet, John?" And that's it. Send it off. And if they don't respond, send another one in another week.
I think that's the key part, John. Like, I know I've sent you emails about guest post pitches, and like I hadn't heard back from you, and I know you know me, like you know, so it's. I think the biggest thing I think for people to realize is that if you're running a popular blog, you're 100 bajillion times busier than anyone else could fathom, and I think that's you know, if you think you're busy now, wait till you have, you know, 500 times more traffic than you already do, and just imagine what those sort of requests are that are coming from you. So, yeah, if someone's like, it's just a matter of being persistent, you know, and keeping up with that.